I am remembering when I used to make handmade cards, but what I'm really thankful for is remembering how somebody had faith in me that I should make their Christmas cards. So these were some of the ones that I started with, and I hand painted them watercolor. And these were some of the other ones that I did. This one was a Christmas card. It was the turn of the century, or 2001. So this is a picture of my mother, and she's at a desk. And this should be easy. New century, '01. Happy New Year. And I sent this out to, it wasn't a lot, but I sent out the cards. But what I had an opportunity to do was do Audrey Smaltz, her Christmas cards. And these are just a sample of some of them, but many of them were handmade, hand cut, and some of them, because it was fashion, they had a fashion theme. And like, I cut out little dresses. I even got an opportunity to do some wedding invitations. This was a job I did with Harriet Cole. I was really, I have to say, the fact that anybody had faith in me to do that is an example of one of the cards that I did for Audrey. Most of Audrey's cards were fashion related because that was the ground crew. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I guess my cards sat on the most fashionable desks in America. And many of the cards I did the holiday, the Christmas cards, and then I also did the Valentine cards. And I mean, we sent out a lot. We sent out a lot. Then I had an opportunity to do Universal Motown cards. It wasn't a lot. It was a little order, but I did them. And that was nice. But my absolute favorite Christmas card for the ground crew was a Nikki Giovanni card. And what I did was I got a square card. I put snowflakes in the card. So I had the sheer vellum envelope, and I had it printed. I used to go to a place in around 14th Street, Cooper. It was around Cooper Union or something like that. And they would get my stuff. I would go to other printers. Nobody would get it, but they would get it. And I remember I was so heartbroken when I went there once to get something done and they weren't there. And funny thing about this, I think I got this when they had the Subway series, Poetry in Motion, and I might have seen it there. But anyway, I used it on her card. Once a snowflake fell on my brow, and I loved it so much, and kissed it, and it was happy, and called its cousins and brothers, and a web of snow engulfed me. Then I reached to love them all, and I squeezed them, and they became spring rain, and I stood perfectly still and was a flower. Nikki Giovanni, Experienced Joy. And I remember another friend of mine, she loved that card so much, she said, I ripped you off. She said, I copied it. I mean, it wasn't me. It was Nikki Giovanni. and she said, I did the whole thing that you did. She said, I loved it so much. This was such a nice card. The Universal card was, there were little pictures that I got of the Universal musicians and what have you, and I put it in an envelope. It was kind of on the same trend, and I put it all the best from Universal family. One of the things that I'm so grateful for is that Audrey Smaltz had faith enough that I could do a job worthy of her business, her company. And parts of me wants to make cards again. I thought I would have a little side card business, but hey, handmade cards are not easy, and or you don't have a whole lot of customers that want them. But for the most part, it really was a nice experience. And I'm telling you, it was no little 50 cards. It was 300. So some of these cards that I was cutting stuff out, it was cutting it out by hand. It was a lot. And I don't regret not one moment of it. I enjoyed the whole series of it. Like I said, this is a small sampling, but there were so many cards that I really enjoyed making, and I enjoyed the process. So I just want to say thank you, Audrey Smaltz, for all that you've done for me.